Hi, my name's Miss Paddison, and this presentation will just tell you a little bit about how you can support the students' GCSE revision for geography. So before we start, I thought I would just give you a brief outline of the geography GCSE course. So in geography, there are 3 GCSE papers that will be taken in 2022. Paper 1 is all physical geography, so that is everything that's natural to do with the world, and we've done all of that in year 10. So we've done natural hazards, the living world and physical landscapes, and everything from that will appear on paper 1. We've just started paper 2, and paper 2 is human geography. Currently we're just learning about urbanisation, we'll learn about urban sustainability. There are 3 units in paper 2, just like there are in paper 1, but it's just been announced this week even that one of those units, the changing economic world, has been taken out, and that's as a reaction to the lost learning due to COVID. So actually students will just do the 2 units from this paper. And then finally, the last paper that they will sit when they do their GCSEs is paper 3. And this is the unseen paper, where they will get a pre-release booklet about 12 weeks before the exam. We'll work through the booklet, they'll take it into the exam and then answer questions based on it. We don't know what the theme of that's going to be, and there'll also be some fieldwork questions in there. They will not be required this year to do any fieldwork, but they will have to answer questions based on it. So that's the 3 papers that we go through in geography. I'm going to talk about each paper and how it is best to revise for each paper. So paper 1, as I mentioned before, paper 1 is all physical geography, and physical geography is very factual. It means there's lots of new and specific terminology, lots of keywords and processes. We think, for example, the keywords to do with earthquakes, the keywords to do with ecosystems, and of course rivers and coasts. It means that there's lots of different words that they might not use before in other lessons that need to be learnt. It's a lot of learning with this paper. In order to make sure that they know the keywords and processes for this paper, the best thing they can do is use the Seneca that we set to help embed the knowledge from the lessons. So going back and make sure that you know your rivers terminology, you know what a tributary is, you know what a confluence is, you know the different types of layers of the rainforest, and just making sure that it is absolutely definitely in there. If a student is revising on paper, the best way to do this is to write it down and to make notes, and just keep practicing those keywords, and that will really help with that paper. For the next paper, for paper 2 is all human geography. So there's a lot less keywords to learn. It can be easier for some students, they find it easier to sort of talk around the subjects in paper 2. But there are a lot more case studies for paper 2. So that means that we learn about different places. So at the moment, we're just about to start learning about the Makoko floating slum, which is in Lagos. We learn about transnational companies in India. We learn about the Three Gorges Dam in China. And students will need to revise these case study facts to gain the highest marks in the exam. So they will need to know exactly how many people live in Makoko, exactly where it is, different facts about how much the Three Gorges Dam cost, and these figures do have to be exact. And that's called place locational content. So for example, writing about the place so that they can show the examiner that they've definitely studied it. So while there's a lot less keywords within this paper, the best thing to revise for this one is the case studies and making sure that they do know the places that we've been studying and they can talk about them in the exam. And then finally for paper 3, as I said before, this is actually a resource booklet, and it will be based on a topic. It could be anything, it could be physical geography, it could be human geography. We will not find that out until we get the resource booklet, and then we will spend a few weeks learning the resource booklet in school. They then take the resource booklet into the exam, and it tends to be a paper where there's a bit more opinion and justification. So there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer, but you're using justifications to argue a point. And then there will also be fieldwork questions on this paper. students will not do their fieldwork this year. They will answer questions based on other people's fieldwork, but they will not do their own fieldwork this year because of COVID. So the best way to revise for this is to attend the EPS revision sessions that we will put on, and also use the revision guide, because there are some map skills in this paper. Now they've done map skills lower down the school, and also graph skills, which they should know quite a lot from maths as well. So overall then, the key to exam success in geography really is revision. And that might sound obvious, but it may be surprising how many students don't actually revise, or how many students say that they are revising without actually doing anything. I recognise that revision is really, really boring. It can be really dull, going over something that you feel you already know. The best way to do that is to set yourself up so that you're ready for it. Revision should always be active. It should never just be reading. If you read something, it's been proven lots of times that it simply doesn't go in your brain. It should be making notes, taking something big and condensing those notes down into something smaller, condensing it down into something smaller. So it should be mind maps, it should be bullet points, but it should always be active. All students have been given their geography revision guide. They got these last year. Some students choose to keep these at school. We have got them here for them. And they should use the revision guide to go over areas that they feel that they need a bit more help with. So if, for example, they feel that rivers is their weakest topic, they should be using the revision guide to start making notes on rivers. It only needs to be sort of small chunks, but otherwise, if we get to April or May next year and you're trying to cram in everything, that can be really, really difficult. So start to make active revision on areas that you know are a little bit weak now. Students should make notes, they should practice questions, they should speak out loud. As I said before, absolutely should never be just flicking through and reading the revision guide, because it will not go in. As we get closer to the exams, we will produce a final countdown calendar of a small revision task to do every single day, and that really, really helps to focus students. You know, today your task is to turn to page 19 and make some notes on the different types of plate boundaries, for example. They can be prepared by making sure that they've got paper, making sure that they've got pens as well. Equally, lots of students find the online things really helpful. So there's Seneca that we use as a really good platform for embedding knowledge into the long-term memory. BBC Bitesize has got a really good area for revision as well, so that might be really good. But please make sure that students are actually revising, and again, not just having a read and not just sitting upstairs and having a bit of a rest. In the exam then, questions for geography will be a mixture of multiple choice questions, so maybe a tick box question, choosing an answer, short answer questions, 1 and 2 marks based on something they might be given, a picture, something to read, and then longer answer questions where they're having to write a little bit more. Sometimes the questions will simply be look at a photo and give an answer based on it, or a map or an extract. So it's really easy on this exam to get lots of the 1, 2 and 3 mark questions. However, students should make sure that they attempt to answer all the questions. Sometimes it's surprising when we mark mock exams and things that we've done in lessons and find that lots of students are quite happy to leave the answers where it looks like they have to do a bit of writing. As you can see, they get given guidelines, so there are lines on the exam that give them a guide of how much they should be writing. And often we find that students, if there's quite a few lines, will just choose to simply not answer the question. So one of the best things that they can do is really just give it a go and just attempt to answer it. Even if they're not sure, you might get 1 or 2 marks just from a little bit of a guess, really. And they should also learn the command words as well. So you can see on the extract that's on the screen, one of the command words is describe. So they should know what describe means and how that's different to explain, and how that is different to what extent. Page 124 in the revision guide is really good at just letting them know this and what they all mean. So hopefully that's been really helpful. If you've got any other questions or anything else I can help with, then please just get in contact with your child's geography teacher or me at the school. Thanks very much.